Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another One Piece chapter review. Chapter 1117. A. Let's see, I'm following up from last chapter review that I did from yesterday, but now doing it today, hopefully a bit earlier, as I want to try and get this chapter review done as soon as possible. I won't be doing chapter 1118 on the following day, but at the very least I'm hoping to try and do that around the weekend. But anyway, this is my review for let's see, pretty much after the revelation that Vegapunk revealed to the world that that Roger and his pirate crew learned the truth of the Void Sentry, and York and the Five Elders discovered that it was the giant robot that actually had the transponder snail. So yeah, that will be the follow up from this chapter. But before we get into that discussion, we've got of course, the Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 7. Ritzy saying cover, and she says, I'll pay my respects to the code of the Yakuza before I go. We see Yamato hugging, Cat Viper, or Nakamushi, I believe you would probably, hold on, yeah, I think it would be, Nakamushi, and you also see Haguro in the background, smiling since he's the head of the Yakuza. Let's see, she's seemingly just parting good ways to them as she's about to head off on a quest. It's a nice little cover thing for that, but yeah. Anyway, onto the actual chapter. We are back onto Pirate Island, or Hachinosu, depending on how you want to translate it. Where you see pirates around there, but the most particular interesting for many people is the fact that you have Don Krieg with long hair, Ging with a sword, and Pearl in the background as they're walking about or cheering, depending on which one you're listening to. Well, Pearl's next to this pirate with pigtails, has a kill shot on the back. But the pirates are being shocked about what Vegapunk is saying, and apparently there's buried treasure on the seafloor with them, implying that, so Vegapunk's saying there's buried treasure all over the seafloor, over the world, with one of them saying, don't be stupid, don't you think the whole world was a city of gold? But because some pirates thinking, oh, there must be treasure everywhere, but some saying, no, there'll only be probably certain bits of treasure there. And them going on about how it's 200 meters down, how they'll be able to get there, since there'll be sea beast snack, as we see a bunch of mermaids swimming in the underwater ruins, and let's see sea beasts swimming under above them and all that stuff, as we see some ruins. With one of them saying, I don't know, I've heard that there are ships that can go underwater. With them asking if they got money for that. With others saying it'd be easy to make friends with a mermaid. And another's getting a more pervy idea, saying that that's a tempting idea. As we hear that. But yeah. But then we cut to the Grand Line where we see, let's see the Shimura Alliance, I believe it is. Let me just check. The Shimura Alliance, right? Yeah. No. Yep, the Saruma Alliance. We see Monk Blank, Cricket, Marashi, and Sojiro talking about how this is even longer than before Nolan's Dale. With them going what a tale, okie. As Nolan says, ready for another dive? Now this is the stuff of dreams. There, we'd see with the members of the Summer Alliance getting excited. We then cut to Navy Base, I believe G5, Ritzy Hospital, where someone is asking if Kobe's all right. With Helmeppo saying, so he's saying that the One Piece is. With, I believe, let's see, this is, I've still not used to her name. I believe it is pretty much, Hibari, saying, it sure is a lot to take in, huh? With Kobe saying that he feels like he's going to pass out and needs to try and jot down or note this down all later, so he can't keep his mind up for this. But anyway, I think you get either, I think it's Ritzy Helmeppo or Kujaku, one of them is saying the captain's recovering well, but he wants to be alone. With Kobe saying that all this knowledge is appearing to lead them to a very dangerous conclusion, asking Prince what he thinks. With him agreeing, and seems like there's an answer that really shouldn't be. With Kujaku saying, then that's where we step in. As we then see X Drake listening in a bed, revealing that he's alive, and is seemingly listening to Vegapunk's Den Den Mushies, just looking on silently. And then we cut to the new world where you see Smoker contacting Tashigi, and they're asking where they are, with Smoker asking where she is, and she reveals to them that she's at the General Hospital for G5. And then we cut to a random location. You get some people raising their arms up, listening to Vegapunk's message, saying that I know this information is in bits and pieces, but if I were to say more, it would be speculation. But someone is just shouting as they're raising their hand, saying, just tell us, what did Roger leave behind? As people are now becoming a bit more curious about, the treasure that Roger left behind. So there is that. Anyway, okay, now for some of my thoughts on the chapter. It's no surprise that many of the pirates are now it's no surprise that many people now that Roger is literally being mentioned with like what he learned about the 14th century. Many people are starting to come to the conclusion that it is the One Piece. I mean, it wasn't Vegapunk that directly states that Joe Boy was the original owner of the One Piece, but many people are suspecting that now that the One Piece is connected to what Roger found in the world and what kind of treasure he left behind, or what he did leave behind. But also many pirates are also speculating, there must be loads of treasure down in below 200 meters. But some, of course, are pointing out that now that some are now pointing out that it's pretty impossible to go there unless you have like either underwater ships that can go down there, or submarines, or if you prefer something like mermaids. Otherwise you're dealing with the sea beasts. But the pirates, of course, being pirates, have more lecherous ideas for the mermaids, but arguably that's probably why mermaids would probably not help them. But yeah, but it's interesting, we do see some mermaids swimming in these underwater ruins, so it does lead to the question: how much of the mermaids know about these know about what Vegapunk said, at least these underwater surface, but at least whether or not they knew that it was 200, about the 200-meter thing, but or why they never told humans about it, though my guess is due to human prejudice against fishermen and mermaids. They mostly kept this information to themselves, or just never really had a chance to talk to humans. But I do like how some people, like the Schumer Alliance, which is nice to see, pretty much like Frankie, thinking like this is a tale of romance and let's see stuff of dreams, are excited at the possibility of doing diving adventures to try and undercover this underwater cities and countries, as well, saying that this is even older than like the tale of Noland. So it's like it's a much grander adventure in many ways. Let's see Noland's thing with like the Shandorians and like the Skypiea arc thing. It's all just like a prelude arc to like what Vegapunk, to what is going to be happening into the entire world of One Piece, because Skypiea is kind of like a prototype, if you will. Anyway, it's nice to see that the members of Sword are starting to recover and heal their wounds. I do like how many of them are starting to like question, this kind of speculation leads to some very, possible answers that we may not actually like. As I think they're starting to suspect that the world government might have some very sinister motives here and all that, and that they may have to try and step in. But I do like that little bit there. We also got, of course, the confirmation that X Drake was alive. Many people were wondering whether or not he's alive or dead, because of like his last moments where he was neck wounded and Ritzy lying on his back next to Basil Hawkins. Granted, we have no idea if Basil Hawkins survived. He only had like a 1% chance of surviving. But for all we know, that maybe remain as an an unknown death for the rest of an unknown mystery for the rest of the series. We'll have to wait and see. But for all we know, for the time being, we could assume that Basil Hawkins is dead. But though granted, X-ray could at least took him to be healed. But yeah. But he's also listening into Vegapunk's message. And I guess given the stuff that he's seen in Wano, with the world government shady business with the pirates in Wano, I think he probably starting to suspect the world government of more sinister purposes, and might even lead the Marine sword into more actions against the world government. But anyway, we also have the return of Smoker, as he's using his smoke abilities on a sort of motorcycle kind of like device, which I think he did have in the pre-time skip, but now he has it here, and arguably he is probably using it. He is listening in to. He's contacting Tashigi so he can learn where where she at. So that, who knows? They can probably discuss what to do next. My guess is Smoker's very intensely listening in to what Vegapunk said and wants to make a next move with Tashigi. Maybe he suspects the world government of doing some foul play. But yeah, but arguably with Tashigi and Sword. But yeah, though granted, Tashigi has appeared a bit more frequent this arc than Smoker did because she went with the members of Sword. But we had no idea where Smoker was, but now he seems to reunite. And if they're going to reunite with the members of Sword, they're probably going to end up planning and stuff like to investigate Vegapunk's claims or something at the very least. So I do like that bit there. But anyway, I think the biggest surprise return is none other than Don Krieg, Gin, and Pearl. And see the Krieg pirates, because many people are now starting to wonder if we would ever see them again. Because after Don Krieg was defeated, Grin carried him off and told Sanji and Luffy, let's meet again some point in the Grand Line. It seems like we might see some people wondered if Oda had dropped that point, but it seems that they've managed to make it all the way to Hachinosu and Pirate Island, and maybe now subordinates of Blackbeard, which will be very interesting to see because the Straw Hats end up eventually encountering the Blackbeard pirates and have their final their confrontation. You could very well see Don Krieg and Gin reacting like to Luffy and Sanji. Well, granted, I'm wondering how they're. Well, granted, Pearl seems excited about like all the possible treasure under the sea. Who knows? We have to wait and see what they say. What happens with those those three characters, or is this just a glorified cameo? Now that makes me wonder if we're going to see Arlong and Kuro. Right? Let's see Kuro. Yeah. Let's see if we're going to see like the other East Blue pirate antagonists, maybe Axe Morgans. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that. It'll be quite interesting to see that, or if all of the East Blue Saga villains have become like grunts and subordinates to the Blackbeard pirates. So granted, I don't how long would really want to serve humans. Let's see. Granted, I have seen some people that were not happy the fact that Don Krieg was killed off by Mihawk in the live action, saying like, "Oh, this is Oda apologizing for what happened," and saying, "Oh, see, Don Krieg's important." To be honest, I get why some might not like Don Krieg not being the antagonist, being taken out by Hawkeye in the live action. I can understand why they did that choice, and I think some people just kind of overreact to that. But it is what it is. Anyway, we cut to back to Egghead, where Nami is commenting about the barrier coming down. With one of them being, with someone saying how that huge noise from earlier scared them, which they probably referenced in Nesjiro's Uncut. Chopper comments that the clouds have stopped extending outwards, with Usopp saying that they got plenty of room as it is. saying that there's enough distance for the ship to land in the water. But as Lilith points out, there's a bunch of enemy ships where they need to land, so they can't really just do that. Brock revealed, was told them that the coal has been loaded in the Sunny, and they can fire off any time. Nami asks Jinbe if he's here yet, with him saying he's almost there, but as he's carrying Zoro, saying that they're on the heels of, telling them that they're on the heels of a monster, as they are chasing Nezjuro. Nami is at first confused, saying, "Are you going on a detour?" But let's see, but he says that's not the case because Nezjuro is actually heading to the Sunny, surprising the Straw Hats there, and even terrifying them, as he says his Red Sea presence is truly overwhelming. As you see a giant Nezjuro draw out his giant katana, and you see Usopp, Chopper, and Lilith do the pop-eyed shock thing of like, yeah, the Five Elders! With one of them going like, what? As Nezjuro looks like he's about to cut. But Jinbe uses a Fishman Karate Jiu-Jitsu piggyback move. As Zoro uses a move called Two Sword Style Retsufu Paradise. I'm not called Rashomona, but Nezjuro looks around to Zoro and let's see, strikes at him as their blades clash, and you see Conqueror's Haki sort of in the background, showing that he also has Conqueror's Haki. Though I'm not sure if that was. I can't recall if it was shown that he had Conqueror's Haki in a previous chapter. I know that Saint Saturn and Marcus Mars's, but I think this pretty much confirms all the elders have Conqueror's Haki. And then they just got them just like holding it out a bit, and with I believe Nezjuro commenting about the Ketetsu blade that, or maybe even Zoro, that they have the Ketetsu blade, and then you have like the Cloud Ash of Haki, and it blows them both back. Jinbe catches Zoro, and Zoro says, "Just push off, and we'll jump on now while you still can." And I'm going to end that bit there as so I can then start commenting on my thoughts on this part of the chapter. I do like how the Straw Hats, let's see, Nami's group are like realizing that, okay, the battle's coming down, it's time, let's see, and that the clouds will start extending. They need to prepare to jump. But I do like how Lilith points out that even if they are ready to jump, there's a bunch of marine battleships on there. So they need to be careful where they land because they don't want to crash into one of the enemy ships, because that would be awful. Let's see, even though they're pretty much ready to fire at any time. I do like how Nami is trying to ask Jinbe, "Are you here yet?" But let's see, gets annoyed when she thinks that they're doing a detour when he reveals that they're chasing a sort of monster. But then they did not realize that actually Nezjuro has, instead of going after the giant, has decided to go after the Straw Hats ships. Let's see, arguably probably to target the Straw Hats as well as Lilith, who was one of the Vegapunks. And of course, let's see. Now, interestingly, you've got let's see, Usopp, Chopper, and Lilith doing the Popeye thing, which is normally saved for like let's see, the Sun God Nika reaction, so whenever they get shocked by Luffy's silly antics. Though, granted, it's usually the just straight popped out eyes instead of the circle ones normally. You'd figure they'd do that. But if I had to guess, Oda just wanted to draw those pop eyes. But anyway, we finally we got a little of a team combination of I like how we got a combination of Jinbe throwing Zoro, similar to the kind of like how Zoro was thrown when by one of Luffy's pirate subordinates to take down Pika. So we got something similar to that, but I do like how Nezjuro is able to quickly detect that Zoro's coming in and is able to block it with their blade. And in many ways, this fight here is just pretty much probably a tease to probably what arguably is going to be the final fight for Zoro against Nezjuro. And the fact that one of them notices the other has a Ketetsu blade arguably means that this is the missing blade from like that set, and meaning that these two are probably going to be destined to clash later. So arguably you're going to have a much more intense fight. Granted, I think there's some people commenting on the fact that on the fact that Oda's being a bit inconsistent with the sword size, as this Nesjuro's sword seems to have grown to that of a giant blade when it was a much more smaller. Now, granted, I'm not sure if this is just like something that the swords have, where their sides grow with whoever wields them, like how Emna was like bigger with Odin, but much smaller with Zoro, or if this is some sort of ability that Nesjuro has. But either way, I think you're never going to get Oda being consistent with like the use of with like the sword sides, I guess. Oh no, so we'll have to wait and see how it's Gritty commented. But I do like how you get a conqueror's clash. Let's see, conqueror's clash between Zoro and Nesjuro. It's a clash of kings. Granted, it's not on the level of Yonko yet. At least Zoro's not on that level yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if that eventually does end up happening. But yeah, I do like that they're able to push each other out. Granted, I would say probably Nesjuro is probably the stronger fighter currently, but Zoro is doing pretty well. I do like how he just tells them to just jump off and he'll jump on later, seemingly trying to keep Nesjuro at bay before they do that. So you probably have Zoro and maybe Jinbei versus Nesjuro for a while. Let's see. So yeah, I remember like some people, let's see, talking about how Zoro versus Nesjuro might instead be Zoro versus Mars, but I just because of video watch from Mr. Morge, but I think he has now changed his mind back again, and I probably have to agree that yeah, Zoro is definitely fighting the swordsman as his possible final opponent, unless you got like S-Hawks, or maybe even, let's see, S-Hawks as the final opponent. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, on to the next bit of the chapter. We cut back to the northwest coast of Egghead, where the giant warrior pirates are, where they're being attacked by the Marines, with Bonnie asking where Luffy is, saying that they can't last forever here. And then you get, I believe, one of the vice admirals, I believe Vice Admiral Hound, I believe. Let me just double check. Yeah, this is Vice Admiral Hound just saying, it's just one ship. Forget the legends of old Elbow. Just sink the ship. As Sanji's saying, we can't seem to get a connection through. Come on, Luffy. And then we see Luffy back in base form, which he's saying that they're almost there, telling them to get the ship moving. With Sanji just saying, is he just going to yell really loud? With let's see, with hold on, let me just try and Atlas saying, oh good, that Luffy's here. Let's see, Doggy and Brogy say Omi and Kashi's name and tell them to set sail, with them replying captains. And then the Giants preparing to set sail, while others are either firing arrows and pistols at Marines, while they will try to keep them at bay, as the Marines are saying they're not going to let them escape. And then we got, I believe, Vice Admiral, the one that looks kind of like Oz, I guess you could say, in Face Up. I believe this one is Urban, I believe. Yeah, I think it's probably Urban, telling them to stand firm. They're just fossils from 100 years ago. But the Giants end up debunking that statement, as the Giants say, drive them off, boys. Let's see, some of them are laughing as we get all kinds of different Giants with like wielding swords and axes, and one of them wielding a drumstick that he's eating. And you see him just grabbing onto ships, sinking them, cutting them down, picking up Marines, kind of like Attack on Titan, if you will. And with Marines saying that we can't handle them, and as they say, all ships leave positions and focus on our target, saying that they want an all-out assault, as you just see many Marines cowering at the might of these giant warrior pirates, if you will. With Vice Admiral, I believe, I believe her name is Bluegrass, just saying what a sorry display this is, saying how each and every one of them, let's see, how can each of you carry justice on your back? telling them to act like heroes and not like a bunch of scrubs, as she's using her controlled sea beast to fire at the giant pirate ship. I believe you get Kashi looking at the hull of the ship, and then Vice Admiral Dole saying she'll put one in him too, using a move called Rock and Roll Blaster. Does a bunch of punches on Kashi, and then he starts falling, looking up, knocking, let's see, unconscious, with Marine shouting, "Yeah, go Vice Admiral Dole!" Let's see, one of them shouting, "Love a good brawler," as I think one of the giants shouts, "Kashi!" With more Marines saying, "Keep it up, so what if they're giants?" But Luffy ends up noticing that Topmo and Walkyrie is not following them anymore, and with Omi and Kashi, they're saying that's good news. They can just hop on the ship and set sail, laughing, telling them to get ready as they go. And I'm going to stop there for the bit of the review, as I can just now try and comment on these bits here for the chapter. I do like how you've got like the Marines trying to keep fire at Bonnie, just trying to just shouting, "Luffy, hurry up! We can't hold on forever because they're surrounded by Marine ships." Granted, as the Marines are starting to get, with at least some of the Vice Admiral leading, saying, "Come on, they're just fossils from 100 years ago. They surely can't be strong now." Only to be kind of like literally debunked by when the captains arrive and telling their crew to drive off the nearby Marine ships, and you just see them completely devastating. I do like the designs of some of them, including the one with the long nose and sort of flat kind of like Roman-like helmet, picking up, looking like he's going to eat one of the Marines, like Attack on Titan. That one with the drumstick or piece of meat, and just in one hand and sword in the other, just like, "I'm feasting and fighting." And just like one of them was like just an axe ready to strike. There's another with a twirly mustache. He's like dragging the ship down. But yeah, I do like how Sanji's just like, "Hey Luffy, can you hear me?" And he's just shouting. Well, granted, I feel like Luffy's going back between base form and Gear 5 a bit too quickly for my liking. But I do like how we see also some giants shooting with archery and gun pistols. But yeah, and despite the fact that Marines are trying so hard, they're like, "These are just 100 years ago. These guys are from 100 years ago." They're having a very hard time and don't really stand a chance against these, even against some of the grunts here. But goes to show you that that the giant pirates lived up to their reputation that from 100 years ago, where they sparked terror across the seas, and the fact that the Marines, despite the fact that Marines have a third of the Marine, the third of their forces from Marineford here, they are taking very high casualties because these giants are mighty. Though granted, it's not completely doom and gloom for the Marines, as you got Blucher using the Sea Beast to shoot their ship, and Vice Admiral Dole, showing some very, showing her skill by, using a rock and roll sort of blaster of punches to take out none other than Kashi. So that's quite a feat, because if I recall, in Enies Lobby, it took all of the Galar Company and the Frankie family just to defeat one of the giants, from what I can recall. But yeah, no, granted, I'm not sure if they got some assistance from the Straw Hats in one situation. I do know that I think one of the sea trains did end up crashing into one of them, but it's been a long time since I've seen the Enies Lobby arc. But yeah, I do think it's a very impressive feat that you got here from Vice Admiral Dole, because one of the other Vice Admirals, we recall, got beaten in one shot by T, Doggy, and Broggy. So now she's kind of coming in, showing that, hey, don't underestimate Vice Admirals. Sure, they can end up beaten now and usually be used as a punching bag for Oda, with only Doggy and Broggy, and then later Frankie. But remember, they are some of the stronger. They are some of the strongest Marines out there, just below the admirals, and some of them, and even though their strength varies, some of them are very strong. And you've got here with Vice Admiral Dahl using that kind of strength there. So yeah, but anyway, I do like how after Dahl knocks one of the giants, Kashi down, you got the morale of the Marines boosting. Also, I think some of the giants showing concern for Kashi. But yeah, but it is interesting. But I do like how Luffy is able to notice that Top Man Rokuri is no longer pursuing them. And the giants are just saying, we can just head out, because they're not aware that the Top Man Rokuri has now probably gone after the giant robot, because, well, that takes more of a priority of like trying to cut down the broadcast. But speaking of which, we see the giant robot with 4 of the 5 elders, all in their giant monstrous form, all looking shady and black, all kind of like angry and determined to pursue the robot. As Vegapunk says, he has one last final message to impart, telling them to those who are scattered throughout the world. As Marcus Mars realizes that this giant robot is none other than the one that attacked Marijois 200 years ago, thinking he's certain of it, as Vegapunk shouts, those who bear the name of D, with, I think, Top Man Rokuri charging in at the giant robot saying, "Don't you dare," about what Vegapunk's about to say. And we cut to, like, Dragon, who's just coldly staring at what Vegapunk's saying. Sabo, who's listening and thinking of Ace and Luffy. And then we see Kobe, who's thinking of Luffy and Garp. And then Blackbeard, who's going like, eh. And then you have Belmeppo saying, Captain, implying that he's probably aware that Law has the D. As Vegapunk says, within you there is, it's in next panel is A, that I think in Japan that was translated as Mo. But Top Man Rokuri just comes charging in, bashes the Iron Giant, sending him flying, as Top Man Rokuri says, enough of this, as the giant starts to land on a bunch of marine ships and by the water, as ends up shocking quite a few of the Marines there, as Top Man Rokuri says, enough of this, continuing his sentence of enough of this Vegapunk. And then we see a bunch around the island where we see Vegapunk's broadcast now being cut off, with citizens like, oh, it cut out. With Vivi, then we cut to like Vivi, Wapple, and Morgans with her saying, wait, what was he going to say? And one of them just shouting D, with Marcus Mars and Saturn just slowly staring. Let's see, just staring in as we're just hearing beep, 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 as someone is shouting, is it a jamming signal? Beep, 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 as you get York just sighing down with relief saying, it's finally stopped, seemingly relieved that it has finally stopped, that the message has finally ended, and no more secrets are now revealed to the rest of the world, hopefully for her securing her status of being a world noble down the line. So yeah, that's the final part of the chapter. So my thoughts. I do like how, let's see, to show just how big the 5 elders are. Let's see, with their monstrous forms, you can see just how much some of them look even bigger, look about just the same size, or just about as big as the Iron, even bigger than the Iron Giant. So yeah, I do like the size thing. It's like you got them all cold staring down the giant. It looks like he hasn't even noticed them yet. But anyway, it's interesting that the final part of Vegapunk's message is that he's a message amongst to those of the D clan. Unfortunately, it happens to be this message, that this part of the message that gets cut off, which honestly I think it probably makes sense, as Oda probably wants to save the revelation about the D clan for last, or at least as the last revelations about them. Let's see. So, but at the very least, the whole world now knows about that. There's an importance in the meaning of those who have like the D name. They seem to have never paid attention to it, but now they have. I do like how you've got certain pretty members of the D clan, or those associated with the D clan, just reacting to this revelation. Dragon is perhaps particularly staring cold-eyed. Let's see. let's see, we have no idea how much Dragon knows about the D clan or the importance of his name, but clearly as Vegapunk's saying, among you there is, clearly implies that there's something important related to the D. Ace, of course, thinks of his, Sabo thinks of his brothers, and probably thinking even what Nefertari, thinking about how the importance of this D name is seemingly becoming. Probably more of the, like, Vegapunk's bringing up, because how much he's hearing of the importance of D lately, because he heard, Cobra bring it up, about how his family also bear the name of D, to like Vivian, like with Vivian, Luffy as well. And now Vegapunk's bringing it up, so he's really starting to think about that letter D when it comes to his two brothers. Oh, wait, we've got someone called Paul saying, yo, saying maybe it's about Luffy. I assume that you were referring to like Vegapunk's message saying among you is the D, which it could be possible that Vegapunk is arguable. Oh, maybe it's about Lily. Oh, you said Lily. My mistake. I thought you said Luffy. But it could be possible that Vegapunk is bringing up about Lily. That among you is like let's see, among you there is someone that betrayed the Celestial Dragons or something, or among you someone did this important thing. But I have a feeling that Vegapunk is probably talking more about D's in the current timeline. Like among you, there is possibly either there is a traitor or a false D, like Marshall D. Tech or Blackbeard, if you will. Or among you is Joe Boy's successor. Yeah, as you says here, it could be about Joy Boy and Nika. So yeah, so it very well could be pretty much about that, which means that pretty much it will be about Luffy, if you will. So you very much may as well have Vegapunk trying to bring up Luffy, but before he can, it's been completely cut off. We do know that, at least from this saying like, oh, by the way, a spoiler, but have you not seen the latest chapter of One Piece, or have you seen the spoilers for the latest chapter that's coming out? Oh yeah, he got off and didn't. Yeah, so he didn't finish. Yeah, I know that bit. I've read that part of the chapter. I'm just doing comments on the whole review bit here, but yeah. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, I did. Let's see, 1,119. Okay. So you've seen the spoilers for that. Okay, I have not seen the spoilers for that chapter, so would be appreciated if you didn't bring up the spoilers for that chapter while I'm doing a review for 1,100, my late review for 1,117. But yeah, but could very well partly if we know that Vegapunk suspects that Luffy might have been Joe Boy by the time of this message, but then let's see, you're saying yeah, no problem, thank you. But yeah, but we do know that Vegapunk suspected that Luffy had the sun god Nika fruit. So it could very well be that Vegapunk was about to tell everyone that Luffy is the next Joe Boy. But if that's the case, then it was probably a good thing for the world government that they could cut off that just before it happens, before they get possibly more people trying to ally with Luffy in the future. So yeah, but at the very least, I do like how you've got like let's see, Dragon just okay, so I'm saying I don't think he's fight or don't think he's right. Is that supposed to be right or fight? Don't think he figured that out yet. Well, we know that well, I think when the message was being recorded, he didn't yet realize that Luffy was the sun god Nika, but by the events of Egghead, he does. So it could be in the message he speculates that Luffy might be Nika, but if he would have said that for the message, we don't know. But anyway, besides Ace just thinking about Cobra and probably now Vegapunk, you have Kobe thinking about both his mentor and his friend. So he realizes that they've got some importance for the D. So he's probably going to try and look into that himself. Oh, someone's saying, my keyboard is messed up. Sorry, Lo. No, it's fine. But yeah. But also the interesting thing is you have Blackbeard reacting. He's going like, yeah. From what I can tell, perhaps he wasn't paying too much. Some have speculated he wasn't really paying too much attention to Vegapunk's message. But now the fact that Vegapunk had mentioned the D, he seems to have gotten interested again. I mean, we do know that Blackbeard has a hobby of archaeology with like some of the sources and data books and maybe SBSs. So it could be very likely that Blackbeard knows quite a bit of what Vegapunk has already said, or is getting some members of his crew just to write down everything while he does his other business. But at the very least, he's paying attention to like the whole part of the D message, and it's curious what Vegapunk is going to say about it. But yeah. But who knows? But we'll have to wait and see how Blackbeard responds, reacts after the events of Egghead about this. But also, it's interesting that we learned that let me just get the name up. Beppo is also reacting to this and thinking of his captain, showing that Beppo does know that Vegapunk, it does know that his captain, Law, does have the D in his name. And it also shows us that Beppo and Law at least have managed to land somewhere where they can listen to a Dengen Den Mushi after the events of like their battle against the Blackbeard pirates. So at the very least, Trafalgar Law is probably maybe also listening into this message, and it's probably also is also trying to listen very closely to the D message. But unfortunately, it was cut off, which got many of the citizens being shocked. But yeah, there was at least enough that, Paul is saying, my theory goes about that the robot and Shinichou were in Joy Boy's original crew. Thoughts? Yes, I think that is pretty much going to be the case. I think we do know that from Wano that Shinichou was a companion of Joy Boy, so it's arguably probably a part of the crew. And since the robots responded to Joe Boy's name, it's very possible that he was a part of the crew, or even or at least part of whatever forces that teamed up with Joy Boy in the Ancient Kingdom against the world government. But yeah, another theory I've seen people speculate recently is that the D Clan are actually descendants from the Joy Boy's pirate crew, so that might also be a factor to consider as well. Oh, someone called Taylor Barely saying A. Oh yeah, that bit of the A thing, because interesting. I think in the Japan translations, it's supposed to be Mo, which I think maybe also may imply something like also, or with depending on how you translate it, I guess. But I mean, it's a bit vague of more vague about what Vegapunk was going to say. So I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to. But yeah. Anyway, it's interesting thing to note is that Marcus Mars comments on the fact that that comments on the fact that he recognizes. Oops, I'm Polo saying. I was just thinking about Joy Boy being the original D-Lo. Who knows? He could very well be. I mean, because if some people are thinking okay, if Joy Boy's crew were the original D Clan. Some are thinking it might be something like the Dawn or Dream Pirates, depending on what you think the will of D is. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah. But Marcus, anyway, back to where I was. Marcus Mars seems to recognize the robot. So it might speculate that either Marcus Mars was alive during the time when the robot attacked Mirishra 200 years ago, or there was enough information that's been kept around about the robot that he's able to recognize its appearance. But yeah, but either way, he seems to realize this robot and what it signifies or what it means. So they're getting so I'd like to think means that Vegapunk has gone far deeper in his research than they feared. Oh, Paul says, I'd like to bring up something else. Sorry, if I'm interrupting. No, it's fine. I'm just giving my thoughts on this chapter, but I always answer like comments that are like down there, provided they are appropriate. But yeah, as long as it's nothing rude. But yeah. But anyway, I do like how you've got Top Man Rokuri being the one to smash the robot, sending him flying. And it's like, granted, I will admit, I thought the robot would have a bit more endurance. And I will admit, I'm a bit surprised it just took one attack from the Five Elders just to cut off the communication. But either way, it's done. Let's see. By the way, what do you think of Bonnie's Devil Fruit? In regards to Bonnie's Devil Fruit, I'm going to save that for the next time when I get to review the following chapter, because that will be a discussion more for that chapter review. I'm going to discuss it there. I'm not going to do it now because Bonnie's Devil Fruit is not coming to play here. And I'd say that'll be when I decide to review One Piece chapter 1118. I'm hoping to do it some point next week. I mean, this week at least. Maybe a Friday or a Saturday. It just won't be for like the following 2 days because I'll be too busy to with other bits and pieces to review the bits and pieces to actually review the chapter. But yeah, I will discuss Bonnie's Devil Fruit when it comes to chapter 1118. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, the giant robot being bashed. Well, I'm a bit surprised that it took just one attack to cut it off. I figured the robot might have had more endurance, but at the very least, mostly because from what we've seen from it before, all the Marines' attacks seem to have no effect on it. But it seems like, but I guess it goes to show just how strong Top Man Walker is that he's able to, with such strength, push back the robot, send them flying into the ocean, and also cut off the communication. Yeah, which is leaving many people like, oh my god, what's the D? What's the D? But at the very least, you've got Vivi and now probably Morgan's being curious about the D, since Vivi is also a member of the D clan, but she doesn't realize this yet. And Morgan's probably seeing enough D's on bounty posters, probably going to make a suspicion, particularly like Luffy and Blackbeard. Oh, Paul says, no, but not in regard to that chapter. Her uses of similar stuff that Luffy's fruit can achieve is something that is bugging me. Like I said, that is next chapter, and I will bring that up when it comes to that review there. But as for like her achievements, you mean like what she's shown before, like Nika's future, showing herself as a giant, or even muscular form. Okay, you're referring to that. All right, mate. But yeah, okay. As for like the stuff that Bonnie has done prior to like the following chapter, in many ways, it's like Oda, I think, is like Oda's creativity of like Bonnie doing possible futures for that devil fruit. Oh yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah. So pretty much you have for the stuff with Bonnie and that stuff with her devil fruit. Yeah, it's showing possible futures where she can due to her power of imagination. In many ways, it's kind of like since she's actually a kid, it's kind of like fitting that a child can just imagine themselves to be what they imagine themselves to be, like a giant, a muscle person, or having a giant fist. In many ways, that power works in like it's like that devil fruit's like the power of a child's imagination. Now, as for like the moves being, the moves being similar forms to Luffy, in many ways, I think if you look at Mr. Morge's videos, particularly Bonnie in particular, it's pretty much, as he is stating, it's pretty much Morge Oda setting up Bonnie to be sort of like Luffy's apprentice, if you will. Because I think at this point, Bonnie is probably going to be the next member of the Straw Hats, because you've got the sad, tragic backstory, even though that was mostly primarily focused on Kuma. You've got like the interactions she's had with Luffy, and she seems to be quite similar to him. And also, she pretty much admires the sun god Nika, which she has found out is to be Luffy. So, in many ways, Bonnie is possibly being built up to be Luffy's like Shanks, if you will, because Luffy's going to be the Pirate King, and Shanks was Roger's apprentice. So if Luffy becomes the Pirate King, Bonnie's going to be his apprentice. So it's kind of like let's see, Cycle of the Pirate things. Even though Barney and Luffy are sort of in the same generation, Barney is by age younger. So that's probably where it's going to go like. Oh, Paul's saying, well, it's amazing talking with you. I'll see you later, mate. See ya. Thank you, Paul, and I appreciate your comments on this review channel. It was an interesting sort of like discussion. I hope to speak to you later in regards to other things, but for now, I'll just continue with my closing up my review here. But anyway, now that sort of Barney stuff has been dealt with, but yeah, you've got like the Iron Giant has been knocked down. You've got Top Man Rokuri's strength being shown. So yeah, I do like that. But yeah, but the most interesting thing is the fact that York is now just puffing thing like, it's over, finally over. Normally you'd see that with like good guy characters when some awful thing has been stopped, but this time you've got something like the bad guys like, oh thank God, it's finally over. But yeah, but Vegapunk's message is now pretty much being stopped. So now you pretty much have with Vegapunk's message being stopped, let's see, she can have a sigh of relief because that means whatever, no more damaging secrets can be revealed, or at least perhaps the most vital one, the stuff of the D-Clan, which is the Celestial Dragon's enemy, won't be shared with the rest of the world for the time being. As she, and the fact that she helped the elders find where the transponder snail is, she's hoping that maybe can secure her chance of becoming a world noble, because that is her primary goal. Though granted, the five elders have promised her this, but I do wonder if they're going to make her try and earn it a bit more before that actually happens. But we'll have to wait and see what the five elders plan to do with York after the events of Egghead, and whether or not let's see, she will learn about Emu or not. But yeah, overall, I'd say it was a pretty good chapter of a chapter. We got a bit of a tease about the D-Clan, but unfortunately, of course, that's got cut off. But yeah, but overall, I liked what we've seen. We saw the return of Don Krieg and the Krieg Pirates, even if just, let's see, minor cameos. We saw, let's see, Cricket and him get excited for Tale of Romance, as he's probably got the right mindset, because you got Roger laughing at like the Tale of Joy Boy at the end. We've got the confirmation that we've got someone else commenting saying, "What if Bonnie dies?" No, let's see. In regards to that, no, I don't think Bonnie's dying. If anyone is going to be dying, I think it's going to be Kuma. In many ways, let's see, because if he dies, because he's pretty much seen Luffy as the Sun God, he's probably going to now see Bonnie being free and safe. If anything, his life has been completed, and let's see, as a result, he could pretty much, whatever remains of Kuma inside, could sacrifice himself to make sure that Bonnie and the Straw Hats get away. But at the very least, I definitely think if anyone is dying amongst like Straw Hats, besides maybe one or two more Vegapunks, it's gonna be Kuma. It just feels more complete. Let's see, Bonnie is more of the next generation taking over, and we know that rarely ends up happening with most mangas. So Tyrell Bailey, I think well, that would be an interesting concept. I think Bonnie is set to live, become a Straw Hat. So yeah, if it's anyone dying, it's Kuma. Anyway, we've got like Sword making a move, and the return of Drake, as well as the return of Smoker. So even though he's not Sword, but yeah, we've finally seen him since the Dressrosa saga. We've got Zoro versus let's see, Nezjuro. So we got a tease of that. It's not probably going to be the full-on fight, but I think it's building up to that probably final clash with them commenting about how the other has a Kitetsu blade. So that'll be interesting. We got to see quite a few of the giants show what they're made of against quite a lot of the Marines, as well as Vice Admiral Dole showing a bit of what she can do with her punches, taking out Kashi, which I will admit is impressive. And then, of course, we have like the Five Elders showing their skill. Well, particularly Top Man Rockery bashing the giant, showing his skill and all that. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. The only nitpick I have is Luffy going back and forth between Gear 5 and base form. I think it's going a bit too quickly, but yeah. Either way, we'll have to wait and see how Oda will handle that at Gear 5 after Egghead. So yeah, overall, I'd probably give this chapter a 8.5 to 9 out of 10. I think it's a very good chapter of One Piece. I'm looking very much forward to reviewing the next chapter of One Piece and looking very forward to when we get to 1119. For those who end up commenting, particularly Tyrell, Bailey, and Paul, thank you for your comments. Hope to see you all again next time for the next time I review One Piece. Goodbye for now.